and we'll start the show.
Sure.
Cool.
Do any of the teachers use Discord, Mike, at school? Or is that something like no one use Discord?
No, so it would have to get approved through our district filters and stuff, and yeah, it's not what it would be. They would not use that as opposed to the apps that we're paying for and the platforms that we're paying for. So.
Oh, really? Do you guys pay for things like Teams
Yeah, I
and
mean,
stuff
so
like
the
that?
district pays for Schoology and pays for Power School and stuff. So those are the learning platforms that we use.
I gotcha. That sounds exciting, I think.
And the Google suite of documents, there's tons of Google apps out there that we use. So
just got to use the Google apps.
Sure.
Very cool. All right, so let's go ahead and I'm going to pause the audio here. I think everyone's audio sounds good. I can adjust a couple of levels here, so I'm going to stop it there. And I'm going to start recording. All right, looks like we are live on Twitch. And I'm going to push a couple buttons, and then we will start the show.
Are you an idiot? So who wants to be an idiot? So here we are. Thank you. Bye-bye.
You are listening to the Freelancer Codex, a podcast brought to you by the Shut Up and Respawn Network.
Welcome, everybody, to episode 158 of the Freelancer Codex podcast. The longest running used to be Anthem podcast, but now carried on by two of our hosts because we enjoy talking about video games and other things that are happening in our lives. And today we are joined by a very special guest, Tony Munoz of Wulum Games, creator of The Last Soul. Tony, welcome to the show. We really appreciate you being here today.
We really appreciate that you invite me for the second time to the show, and I'm excited to give you the news about The Last Soul.
Awesome. Well, we had a really good chat last time, so it is a pleasure to have you back. It's fun talking with you about video games, and hopefully we'll be able to chat about other things like WandaVision. And you, as everyone knows, probably by looking at your camera screen, you are a huge comic book fan. So we'll talk about WandaVision and all that fun stuff after we give you a chance to talk about The Last Soul. But really quick, today is February 3rd. It's episode 158. And before we start off talking with Tony, we like to thank all of our patrons who support us in this weird little podcast that we do. So we would like to thank Julius, Nathan B., Michael R., Trent B., Man and Still, Scout69, Dragonheart76, Jeffrey H., The Gameplay Experience, RZ, and Phaedron. Thank you so much for supporting us. And we like to say thank you for everyone that's hanging out in chat. Rusted, all the way from Japan, hanging out on his lunch break, I assume. Rusted, thanks for always watching us from the other side of the planet. So thank you for being here. So for all of you that do not know, Tony is the game director for an indie title called The Last Soul. Tony, do you want to give a quick high-level explanation of what Last Soul is?
Well, yeah, Last Soul is a 2D pixel art action shooting platformer game. I think that's the best way to resume everything, and I know it because I've been working today on the definition, so I have it like in my mouth, you know.
Yeah.
And that's the game where we mix some kind of retro fashion style that we really love, and we talked before with you, and trying to combine that with I love the games where I can shoot a lot, and where we have some technology and stuff around robots. And so we decided to combine this with a beautiful pixel art, and the result has been really amazing. I think that if we have any doubt, like 2 weeks ago, after the release of the player test, it has been really, really amazing the push that we are having for the gamers community. So yeah, that's The Last Soul. And it's more to discover in a few weeks.
Awesome. So what was it like when you guys were ready to all right, here we go. We're going on Steam. We're live. Were you guys just hovering over that launch button and then just waiting for all the feedback to come in? Kind of take us where you were at that time whenever you guys when you hit go.
That's a thing. Like when you have your first son and you are dropping it in the school for the first time, it is something like, okay, you've been prepared for it, but you never know how it's gonna be, and you are in a way terrified, And yeah, it was like every day we check, okay, and recheck everything. Um, if Steam, there is one bad thing about Steam, that they need to check your release date 2 weeks before. So if we pass that period, we have to go another week and another week, because we wanted to release on Thursday, which is the best day to release. And it was something like, if we get to that point, we need to move another week. So we move another week twice, and at the end it was like, yes, I think we have a great thing. Let's release it, and let's hear the critics of the gamers. And yeah, we know that there were things that they will suggest, but at the end, the experience was really better than that my expectations, but for a long. So yeah, we're happy.
That's awesome. So what was it like? Because I noticed there was a lot of people streaming the demo. So what was it like watching people like play your game on stream? How was that?
Dude, that's amazing. That's really amazing. It makes you laugh. It makes you cry sometimes. But good crying,
Yeah.
It's like a proud crying. And I think that the reception, the good thing is that basically all these people are people that has been following us on Discord, on Twitter. They know where all the process of developing this game. We have making a very good relation with these people as well. They are always asking us, how is the game, how is the progress, what news do you have, guys? We want to support you. We have feel a lot of that beautiful feeling, and they have expressed as well on their Twitch and YouTube. It's so unusual that a developer is going to share with you, I mean, with the streamer or with the gamers, the process of creating a game, and open to listen to suggestions, listen to new ideas, listen to what we know from our experience, for our long experience playing games, and that we can give you something else that you can use in your development. So yeah, I think that it has been, the community of gamers I think is amazing by definition. I think the hater part is not acceptable on Twitch, on streaming, which that's a thing that I love. That you ban somebody that is not behaving the right way. I love that kind of things. And these people are like, okay, let me contribute. Let me, when it, the perception is that, and we expected that, and they all expected that, was the game is going to have bugs. This is not the official release. This is just a player test. It's like a field test of the game. It's just 2 levels of 40 levels that we are planning to do. So this is just let me see what is your reaction. And the reaction has been people laughing, people loving the music, people loving the character. The fans of Bob, the guy is really loved by the ladies, and it has been great. I think that this has been fantastic. So, and there was a streamer, a girl streamer that I loved when she mentioned, I love this game because this game is like a Super Mario Bros. Mixed with technology, and this is and shooting, and this is amazing. And the other thing was that an experience that I thought that may take that could take a person, I don't know, 15 minutes. It turns out to be 1 hour, 30 minutes. So and people is always saying, I never get bored about the game. So I was killed. I got killed, But then it was like, okay, I'm gonna try it again. Oh, I'm gonna try again. And then this is the last time. Oh, this is the last time. No, now it is the last time. And people try. And yeah, seeing people laughing, seeing people enjoying the game has been a blast, dude. Really a blast.
Yeah, that's awesome. When I got a chance to finally play, like the first thing that I noticed while playing was how smooth the player control is. I always felt like I was in control of the player, and that's something that's really important for a game like this, because there are, I mean, I can see down down the line how technical the game can be, because at some points I imagine it's going to be like a bullet hell game where there's just, the screen is going to be full with projectiles that I have to dodge.
Oh, yeah.
So I was pleased to see that it did handle very well. Was there one particular part of the demo? Because in my mind, there's one particular part of the demo that's pretty difficult to get past for the first time. Was there one section where you're like, okay, this is going to be a pain for everyone? And did you do that on purpose? Because for me,
yes.
Okay.
Yes, and I know, because the thing is that when I make the things, it is something like, sometimes it's really difficult to make a game where it is not too easy, like for people to get in boring, and not too complicated or too difficult for people to get in boring and say, oh, this is so frustrating, dude, I don't want to play this game. So I was trying to move people, like showing how to play the game slowly, and the other thing that was challenging was because I want to present all the features of the game in less than, I don't know, 10 minutes. Yeah. And it was really difficult. And some people feel, oh my God, this is like a lot of information. And I agree, it's a lot of information. But I wanted to present how much we can do with this game. And in that moment, when I say, okay, now I give you all the tools, then you're going to have a challenge. And that was in the moment where you are in the first level, and then you have to, okay, I have to get focused on this. But people is starting to see how the tools are working. They are using the tools in some way, in some really creative way, that they are giving me ideas for the next levels, because I never considered use the tools as they were using it. And I think it has been fantastic for us, because this is the feedback that I want. Is, when you are creating a game, you are always trying to play and try the things that because, okay, I'm shooting. Okay, let me try shooting. Oh, let's shield. Okay, let me try shields. But then these people combining the components, now they're showing you, I can do more with this, with the tools that you're giving me. And then that's starting in my head to say, oh, this could be good for the next level. Oh, I can combine this for the next level. And I think this is one of the strengths of, having a close contact with your gamers, and, without afraid saying, let's try this. Look, you go try the game, and let me see what can I get from that. And yeah, that's just being, yes, you're going to have challenges. Answering your question, you're going to have big challenges.
I think that first level design was actually very, very well done. The tutorial pieces, I mean, it didn't feel out of place for me. It felt like, okay, I've mastered the jump. Now let's move on to the double jump. Now I've mastered the sprinting, right? So that was a great progression. And I think the level design of that first level was actually done really, really well. The first couple encounters, you're like, okay, I can get this, shoot here, dodge these bullets. And then you move on to that part that Steve is probably talking about, where you have, 3 different enemy types, different weapon types coming at you. Died a few times, not gonna lie. It was kind of tough to kind of figure out the timing, because that's what gamers do, right? We play it, we figure out, okay, this comes here, jump here, shoot there, dodge this, do that. It was a little bit challenging, but like you said, that carrot was still out in front of you. You still wanted to go get it and complete it. I really enjoyed that first level. The second level boss fight was fun, very different, very new. Found out how to do that one pretty well and progressed through there. So overall, really well done. I really enjoyed it. Like you said, the character is someone that you can kind of get behind and kind of, oh yeah, I like this guy. The beginnings of the story were very, very well done. I'm intrigued by the story. Definitely sounds like I want to finish it and kind of see where this goes with all the AIs and kind of how, we're going to overcome this stuff. So very well done. I definitely enjoyed it all. So what can you tell us is next?
Well, the next step will be. It is, in fact, it is because I'm working on it right now. Well, we wanted to test this in the field and confirm that people will like the game. So now we know. Now we know because when you finish the second level, everybody that is finished the second level is saying, yeah. And when it was a great Twitcher streamer that says, okay, to be continued now. It was no, it's not going to continue now. When you see the phrase to be continued is because it's not going to continue right now. But for everyone was the same thing. They could have been playing for more than an hour, just 2 levels, and they get there and they say, what? No other level? So we're still defining what will be the first the next steps, and it's going to be more related to how we're going to get the funding, what ways we can get the funding. So now we're starting the conversations with the publishers and presenting the idea, but of course now it's presenting the idea with a product that was tested on field and which was an amazing result. I think that for today, and we have just 3 weeks, we have more than 7,000 downloads, which has been it's a really good number, and which shows that people is interested at least to try the game. So depending of what the investors are going to the publishers or investors will say to us, we're going to continue the production of this. No matter investors will come or not, publishers, will come or not, we have the plan of delivering 5 levels as soon as possible for everybody. So as I mentioned to you, our plan is to have at least 40 levels, and we want to create the first 5 levels of the game. And the plan about what we're going to do is something that we are still figuring out, but we want to have these 5 levels in a period between 1 or 2 months and have them ready for everybody. But of course, if the publishers get in and we can hire more people to help us, in particular for the pixel art. The pixel art is, I think that we make like a good statement about the pixel art style, and now we want to keep it or make it look even better. So we need resources for that, and but our goal is to create these 4 more levels. I get to say that the level that you saw, like the boss level, it was not, of course, the next level. As you can imagine, as part of the story, it makes no sense that you immediately go to a boss. It was like, look what we can do with bosses. That was like a presentation of a boss. But now we want to continue make the storyline, continue the storyline, which will be the moment where Bob is going down to the earth, and then, well, I can't say no more.
Well, also, Tony, the last time we talked, you were talking about building this demo. It seems like you guys made this incredibly fast. Has your team increased in size since the last time we spoke? Because I believe last time we talked, there was maybe 4 of you working on the game in some fashion.
We talk in November or in December.
I think it was in November.
Yeah. The team added one more person, which I'm very happy because it is the guy that decided to be in charge of the social media, of pushing the Discord channel, who has been great. I mean, this guy started on December the 1st. I think it was exactly December the 1st. And which is what Pocky that you see on our Discord. And this guy, pushed the pedal, and for a Discord that we have like dormant, after 2 months we are close to the 300 followers, which has been great, really great. And because it has been the best way to communicate with everybody at the same time. And that's the only difference. Now, about the art and about the rest, it hasn't been really. We were pretty much ready in terms of the art. We made some changes for some animations, but it was like more testing, like how do you feel the game good? What
Yep.
you mentioned a moment ago, which was I was playing and I feel the controls correct. I feel that when if I use the keyboard and jump, it was the right jump to do, not not a pixel up or a pixel down. Make it feel as the best that we could. And but it was just that for December, all the month of December, we have all the art ready. It was just setting the things to the best we can.
Awesome. And I can imagine that adding that other person to handle the social media has been huge, because social media is tough. I mean, it seems like you would probably consume most of your time just staying on top of what's trending. How do I get, Last Soul out there? What do I need to attach to? What streamers do I need to follow to get? I mean, that's a tough job. So I'm sure you're probably sleeping a little bit easier that you don't have to handle all of that, because that's tough to do. Probably, and like we talked last time, you were doing that across multiple platforms on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram and everywhere else, and pretty soon you'll have a Last Soul TikTok, I can imagine. But that's awesome.
We do.
You already do
We
have a
do.
Last Soul TikTok. Okay,
Yeah, we do.
I gotta go find that now. So I mean that's awesome. I'm super excited, Tony, to hear the update. I think doing this in early access and having that demo out there is like the best way to develop games right now, because like you said, you tap into what players expect and what they want early on in development. That helps inform like you guys going forward on what is working, what's not working. And for a lot of the games that we have played that have done that, it has been very, very successful and beneficial for those teams. So
Well,
and
good to know.
yeah, even the Discord server, I am a lurker on a lot of Discord servers, and your Discord server has blown up, and there's a lot of people chatting and being excited about Last Soul. And I think that's awesome, because I think you guys are making a really fun game that my kids got to play and had a lot of fun with going through the demo also. And
Did they?
they did. They watched me play through it first, and I was like, "Hey, can we play?" I was like, "Of course you guys can play." So they jumped in. They died a lot because they tried to pass it's the robot that shoots the big giant spread out. So they died a lot on that until my oldest was able to pass it. But they had a lot of fun, even though that they were dying. They just really enjoyed jumping around and using the jetpack to get up and get to places. So they made sure I explored every inch of the ship. They made sure I went to every corner. So they love exploring. So they're like, "Go over there, Dad." So they had a lot of fun playing it also. And they were excited. I said, "Hey, I'm gonna talk to the person that's making this game on Wednesday." So they were pretty excited about that also.
Oh, nice.
But cool, Tony. So we're excited to hear more about Last Soul. And again, we would always love to have you back on your next milestone, because we love talking to you about Last Soul and everything else. So is there, I guess, would you like to tell everyone listening where they can go to find more information on Last Soul, where they can download the demo, and where they need to follow you on Twitter to stay up to date?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the first thing is to download The Last Soul, which you have it on Steam. So you just go to Steam and go Last Soul. The other option, of course, which is really important for us, because as I mentioned to you, is the communication with our followers, with the fans, is the Discord. the Discord definitely is the place where we can chat, and because anyone that can make a suggestion can add it to another suggestion, which can make things even bigger. And to discover both of them, the best way is Twitter, which is our Twitter is Wulum Games. Very simple, WULU Games, UM Games, and there you have all the information because we're constantly posting about that. And the other thing is that we are also in a way like repaying for all the support that our that the streamers are making. And I know that it's a tough work to get to everybody. These are not the huge streamer with millions of followers. But we have a social media to support us, to support them. Then we are trying as well to promote them when they do something related to Last Soul, and we are really enjoying in this relation. So yeah, go to Twitter, Wulum Games, and there you will get the links to the Discord and to download the game.
Awesome. And I will include all of those links in our show notes so that anyone that's on their, listening on their, what do they call them? Their phones. Yeah. So I was going to say iPod, but no one listens on iPods anymore. That's not even a thing people have. So I'll put all the links in the show notes so people can have access to that. So that'll be awesome. So cool. So we'll move on. We're going to stop talking about Last Soul, and we'll give Tony a break really quick. Because Tony, I also want to find out what else you're doing besides developing a video game, because I imagine you have to take breaks sometime to do normal life things. But we're going to kick it to Mike real quick. And Mike, you're going to tell us what you've been up to this week. And I'm going to write this down so I don't mess up my timestamps again.
Yeah, make sure you get timestamps written down. So this week, been plugging along, playing more VR stuff, doing Beat Saber and progressing there, playing a little bit more with VR and trying to not throw up, which is sometimes challenging, but mostly it's good. The kiddos and I are playing it. We probably play every day. Definitely getting excited with that and having fun with that, and it's kind of a fun thing to do. My oldest has his buddies over and they do Beat Saber parties, and it's fun to watch them play VR and swing their arms around and act kind of silly at times, and they're actually getting pretty good, and it's kind of fun to secretly record them playing and dancing and kind of teasing them about it later. So that's kind of fun. Other than that, nothing too exciting. Plugging along with school. WandaVision is the thing that we're doing. Playing around in the stock market is something that we're doing that we'll probably talk about a little bit later, because that whole thing is happening, and trying to jump in on that and just trying to be a part of, right? Just so we can tell our kids when we're older that we were around when GameStop took over the world, right? Because that's totally what it's going to do, Demolition Man style. So we're excited for that to happen.
They'll be the Taco Bell of
key, Steve. Yeah,
they'll be the Taco Bell of Demolition.
Going on. So.
Cool.
Yeah.
So real quick, I don't have much going on other than I'm playing through Half-Life Alyx. Finally finishing that up. I'll probably finish that up this month. And man, talk about the coolest VR experience ever. Half-Life Alyx. Everyone should get it. I hope everyone should get it. I guess you have to buy a headset to get it. So everyone, if you don't have a headset, go buy a headset so you can play Half-Life Alyx, because it's pretty amazing. So, and other than that, like Mike said, we're just playing with stocks, and we're losing money playing with stocks. So. It's just like GameStop, right? Like you buy stock really high, then you go to trade it in, and you're like, no, sorry, it's only worth like $2 now. You were too late. So we're doing that whole thing. So Tony, when you are not designing and developing a video game, what are you doing? Are you playing other games? Do you have other games that you have to get through, or reading more comics, playing the guitar? I didn't notice you had a guitar back there. Are you a guitar player also?
Yeah. I studied guitar on classical guitar for long years, and then I have a motor problem with my hand, and I couldn't play anymore. Which I really appreciate, because now I have the culture of an instrument that I really love, but I'm doing something I think that is way cooler. So the other things that I do, yeah, the guitar is definitely one. I have a band of friends around that we always, well, we used to play on Fridays, and right now we can't for the moment, at least. But we are crazy to do it again. And the other things, I really like to have more time to play more games and to support older indie games. What I'm doing right now is basically I see the game and say, okay, I'm gonna purchase the game and then I'm going to play it. It has been like I never play it, and I'm trying at least to play the genre of the game that is closer to what we're doing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it has been really difficult. For the last, I can tell you, 2 months, it has been like no time for playing, not almost not at all. And the other thing I love too is to read. I love to read, and I don't know if you see it, but there is in the back here. It was a beautiful gift from a Christmas from my wife, which was all the original art of Star Wars. And oh, dude, it's so beautiful book. It's of Mr. Macquarie, and it's beautiful to read the stories from everything and see the original art and how they did the first Star Wars, where they don't have all the technology that they have, and discovering everything it has been fantastic. So I really love to read. Try to read during the weekends, but has been really difficult for
Yeah.
the last 6-8 weekends. It has been really difficult. But yeah, this and of course watching WandaVision.
Yeah.
That's a thing that it's my Friday. Before it was the Mandalorian, as you can imagine, where I cry on the last episode of the last season. I literally cry, and it was really amazing. I'm not gonna spoiler anything, but dude, if you haven't seen that, you got to see that. It was very. I enjoyed to do that with my son and say, "Oh no, it can't be." It was so amazing, and yeah, I'm a geek. What can I tell you?
No, my
Well, you're in good company because Steve cried too. He cried a lot.
Cry.
He called me on the phone crying.
I can just
He's
cry.
like, Mike, did you see it? I'm like, what are you talking about? Ain't nothing happened. Steve was just bawling, so don't feel bad.
You should
No,
never
I'm
feel
proud.
bad to cry.
I'm proud.
So Rusted in the chat, he had mentioned, he's like, well, I know what he's doing because of all the comics in the background. So Rusted actually translates comics into Japanese from Western markets for that market over there. So Rusted in the chat is he reads a lot of comics as well. Just wanted to throw that out there. Shout out to Rusted for translating comics. That's got to be tough. But
It
so
doesn't have to be different.
and also, like, I will admit, like, I would think I was in my 20s before I realized that a lot of the backgrounds in Star Wars were actually painted.
Dude.
And I was like, I don't know, I don't remember what I must have been watching, like some special, like when you see like the backgrounds of like Star Destroyers, and to me it was just like, oh yeah, I don't know how they made that, but there's a Star Destroyer, and they're like, no, these are matte paintings that they actually painted. And I was like, but it looks so real. I don't understand. It does not compute in my brain.
I'm not painting in a computer. They were painting,
Yeah.
literally painting.
That's cool.
I mean, those paintings have to be somewhere, right? Like, there has to be a giant painting of, like, the site of the Death Star somewhere that someone could find and buy.
According to that book that I'm reading, they are all in a place in the Skywalker Ranch, I think, which is, I don't know, in San Francisco or around San Francisco. And what they did was that when the episode 7 went out, that J.J. Abrams went to that place to check out what was the original things and sketches and everything related to Star Wars. Then they decided, he and George Lucas decided to, why don't we take pictures of this for the fans, because this is something so amazing that we have to share it. And that's why they collected all that, and they created those books that are really, really beautiful.
That's very cool. So we need to plan a heist to the Skywalker Ranch in
Yeah.
order to get some of
You and every other person who wants to get a hold of that art.
I'm
Like,
pretty
there's
sure that a
probably
lot
a
of
line.
people is going to, we're going to be a lot of people.
Yeah,
They can't
and I'm
stop
sure
us
it's been
all.
tried. I'm sure it's been tried.
I don't know. We tried to raid Area 51 and that didn't happen. Maybe we just need to raid the Skywalker Ranch. So.
Well, yeah.
All right, should we talk about a couple news things before we talk about WandaVision? We should. So
There are some news things we can talk about.
let's get into it.
All right. I gotta talk to you about something.
All right, thanks, Keanu, for reading us in for the news. So a couple big things have happened this week. The news has been a little slow. But Google shuts down their internal Stadia game studios, which was kind of surprising to some, not surprising to others. And this is an article that I pulled from Polygon. And the article says that Google is shutting down its internal game development studios tasked with making video games for Stadia. The company's game streaming platform, Stadia GM and Vice President Phil Harrison announced the closure of Stadia Games and Entertainment on Monday on the Stadia blog. And just some quick highlights, because I don't want to read through the whole thing. I'm sure a lot of people already know what has happened. But there's about 150 developers now that will either be relocated within Google or they're free to look for other work. But ultimately, it came down to the exponential cost of making a AAA video game was too much. So they decided instead of focusing on that, they were going to focus on third-party studios coming over to their platform. So this was kind of big news because when Stadia finally ramped up, the big thing was, okay, how do you get people over to your program? How do you get them in your ecosystem? And exclusive games was one of the big things that they had focused on, and currently that is not going to happen. So the future for Stadia is unclear. They said that they're going to continue to work on it. We don't know exactly what that means or in what capacity, but that's something that I guess we'll just have to see. I don't know if Tony, as someone on the other side of the industry, like if you have insight or thoughts on Stadia. I mean, I imagine that you would love to bring your game to as many platforms as possible. Was a cloud platform, a cloud service ever in consideration for Last Soul?
Well, the consideration for Last Soul is to have it not just on PC and Mac for Steam, but also on Xbox, PlayStation, and Switch. A lot of people is asking on Switch, to be honest. But what kind of consideration we could have about using clouding services on the game? I really don't know. But what I can tell you is that we are trying to integrate the game with Twitch. That's one of the of our main goals right now, is to trying to. It's not just, we don't want an experience only for watching a guy playing a game, but that maybe you can help him or help her. But yeah, no, I really don't. To be honest, I really don't get too much information about this. And as I mentioned, the last 2 months have been crazy. But yeah, we'll see what is going to happen with these guys.
But hopefully we will see Last Soul on the Switch sometime, because it would be the perfect platform for it. I mean, it seems like every time we talk about a video game, someone's like, yeah, but the Switch would be the perfect platform. Maybe we're just learning that the Switch is the perfect platform and everyone should own a Switch. Maybe that's what I'm learning more of. So
I think that people love that they can move themselves with the Switch wherever they go. So that's a really high point for Switch. I gotta tell that's definitely a very cool point.
I eventually need to finally get one. So Mike, you added a news story here about some VR. Do you want to hit us with some VR knowledge?
So because I'm a VR expert now,
You
right?
are.
Because I've played for about 6 days. I'm not a VR expert. Well, one of the things that I've been following with Oculus is that Oculus launched sorry, I can't speak. Oculus has launched an app lab for their platform. And basically, what it does is it gives developers an opportunity to demo things that they're doing, to kind of put product out there without having to go through Oculus's official screening process, to kind of help with development and getting user input and feedback, kind of like what we were talking about earlier in the show, to get user feedback, to figure out how developers can best put out product. It helps it helps in side loading. It helps to kind of avoid that having to go through third-party stuff. It's a neat feature. I haven't played with it yet. Like I say, it was just announced yesterday, so I'm gonna check it out from App. It's called App Lab, and it's by Oculus, developed for their platform. And it's see, one of the things that they say here is that they've taken steps to reduce the technical requirements and virtual reality checks to make submissions as simple as possible. In order to promote a safe, secure, and positive experience, App Lab apps are required to comply with App Lab policies and all that stuff there. But it's a great way to get stuff out there, to get it in front of players, to test it, to try it, to comment on it, to improve it. And I think it's actually going to help out. One of the things that I've noticed is that there doesn't seem to be a ton of content out there. And I think this is going to help kind of really procure that content and make it better for everybody involved. So definitely check that out if you're into the VR scene.
So as long as they make it easier to develop apps for VR, then we should technically have more to play, right? So that's kind
it
of
seems
the goal
like
there.
that should trend, right? That should make sense. So we'll see.
Tony,
And
are you?
it's just for Oculus. I'm sorry to ask you that. It's just for Oculus.
Yes, it is by Oculus, I believe, just
Oh,
on their Quest store. Let's see. Let me skim through this a little bit. It did only say Oculus through it, and I'm pretty sure it's only for them. So
That would be great, because I know that for Oculus, usually, as I understand from people that was trying to, post things on Oculus, it took time, took a lot of time to get there. So, yeah, that's really good.
Hopefully, it'll
this
push
should help,
more.
this should
VR
hopefully
apps.
help out with that. So
Tony, are you a VR guy? Have you tried VR? Are you a believer?
Well,
What?
I have my Oculus here, and I love I love Oculus. I love the experience to play Oculus. As I mentioned to you, I wish to have more time to play the games.
Yeah.
But for example, the game of the Sable battle, the one that you mentioned at the beginning of the
Saber?
Oh, that's a beautiful game. I love that game. I really love the game. And well, I don't have to talk about the Star Wars games. It are really amazing. I mean, having the chance to get to Darth Vader in front of me, like to 5 centimeters. Oh my God, that was, dude, this is so amazing. Playing the Star Wars is it has been great. Beautiful game.
Yeah.
It does.
It's been super fun. It's one of the things my kids have loved the most, and it's one of the things that I have really enjoyed about it. There's just something about holding a lightsaber, right? Just you have a lightsaber in your hand, you feel all powerful, and then when you get to see how tall Darth Vader really is, you do kind of shrink a little bit when he shows up in front of you. You're like, okay, I get you now. I get why everybody was scared of you, despite all your breathing apparatus. I get it. You win.
And that's when Mike started to cry.
I think that I've been discussing with other people about the Oculus, the no believers on the VR, and I usually the conversation finish when I ask, have you ever tried VR? No, I haven't, but I don't think. Then they say, you have to try it, because when you try it, everything changes, and the possibilities are so big, are so enormous. The thing about VR is that if you want to create a nice game, a beautiful game, you need some budget to do it. Definitely, you need some really good budget to do it, because you don't want to do things halfway. You want to do it great. I'm not talking about that, the feeling of having Darth Vader in front of me. But if you're going to do even something on the low poly, you have to make it look good, and you need time and you need resources to do it. And I think that I'm dreaming about playing the game that I always wanted to create for the VR, Oculus. This is a spoiler. I don't know, because I'm not doing it. But it was like a game. I don't know if you see the movie Ender's Game, and in Ender's Game there was at the end it was a battle where he was using all the ships that were all around, and he was taking decisions. I say, oh, that should be so good in Oculus. That is going to be a beautiful experience. And I'm waiting for somebody to do that. Really.
Yeah, we need Homeworld in VR. That's what we need. We need Homeworld in VR, because then you'd have it. So.
Oh, okay.
Because then you'd have it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. All right, so we will move on. We will talk about, I think a lot of people would be mad if I didn't at least mention it. We won't talk about it a lot, but the Mass Effect Legendary Edition is going to be released May 15th, and that comes with Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3. So for all those Mass Effect fans that are out there, I know that there's a lot of you out there. We tease you that there's a lot of BioWare baggage with the Mass Effect team, with the people that like Mass Effect. But hey, that's going to be released. The first one's going to be kind of like remaster, remade. It's kind of like some fuzzy wordage about that. But everyone that's been waiting to take control of Shepard again, they'll be able to do that on May 15th, and they'll be able to punch a reporter. So that's an inside joke that Mass Effect fans will understand. All right, so moving on from Mass Effect, the only other news story we have, and this just came in today, Kags sent this over through Discord, but the Embracer Group acquired Borderlands maker Gearbox Entertainment for $1.3 billion. So Embracer Group, if you don't know that name, that's fine. I didn't know it either. But Embracer Group actually has a bunch of studios underneath them. I believe they rebranded from THQ Nordic into Embracer Group, and they have about 5,500 employees all over the place. They own, Gearbox owns Homeworld, so now Embracer owns Homeworld and Borderlands. And the thing that the Borderlands team or the Gearbox team said is that this will give them extra capital in order to create the games that they want. So it sounds like everyone's going to be able to do a little bit more of the things that they want under this new deal. And $1.3 billion, that's a lot of money. This is, I don't know if this is like something that Microsoft like tried to buy Gearbox, because Gearbox would have been like a huge first party get for either Sony or Microsoft. I don't think Nintendo would have been interested, because Nintendo just does their own thing. But yeah, this is big. So this also means that, Borderlands games probably aren't going to be exclusive to Sony or Microsoft, which is good for all of us. So way to go, Embracer Group. They continue to buy all the things. Yeah, they have THQ Nordic, they have GmbH, they have Koch Media, they have Deep Silver, Coffee Stain, AB, Amplifier Games Invest, Saber Interactive, and Deca Games. They have 57 internal games, so 57 internal game development studios in 40 countries. Like,
we are not for selling, but if they're interested, we can listen any suggestions they have.
So please send all emails over to wulumgames.com.
Yeah.
57 internal
I repeat,
games.
we're not for selling, but maybe something. Maybe we can figure out something.
Everyone has a price, Tony. Everyone has a price. All right, so that's the news. So let's go jump into WandaVision, and then, let's talk about some WandaVision. All right, Mike, break it down.
Break it down. Are you kidding? That's hand-carved mahogany. All right, so we open in, I still forget the name of this town every single time we talk about it. Westview. I want to call it like Winchestertonfieldville.
Why do you want to call it that?
It's from a different movie. We open up on Westview, and we're set in, so this is episode 4. We actually don't open up on Westview. We open up on, oh man, maybe I forget how we open up.
In 2022, I don't know.
We open up in 2021. Like this is kind of a shock. The title of the episode is Oh my gosh, Steve, throw me the title of the
Hold
episode.
on. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take out all this that just happened here, and we're going to go back in time as if I am Wanda controlling this podcast, and we're going to go back in time. So we open
While
up,
you were
Monica Rambeau
sleeping?
wakes up from the blip. Okay, she's in a hospital. Her mother, who was friend of Captain Marvel, her mother created Sword, has been passed away, and Monica apparently was visiting her in the hospital when the snap happened, and half of everyone in the galaxy universe, everyone kind of just faded away. So Monica snapped out during the snap, and then she comes back during what everyone is calling the blip now when people come back. Yeah. So she comes back at the hospital, and she like, oh man, this is what's going on, and looking for help. No one can help her because there's actually a lot of people coming back in this hospital. And when I thought about that, I was like, you know, that had to have been like a crazy time. Like, you're just doing your job, then all of a sudden people start coming back. Like, I'd start like, am I hallucinating? Like, what drugs am I on? That's pretty scary.
So I've thought about this, right? And as Professor Hulk is bringing everybody back from the snap, I think he has enough sense and wherewithal not to bring people back in the exact state that they left, right? Because Spider-Man Homecoming kind of raises this interesting point. When everybody starts coming back in Homecoming, you see that the band shows up in the middle of a basketball game. Yeah. So it stands to reason that people who were snapped out as they were on an airplane were blipped back in the middle of the air to fall to their deaths wherever they were flying over.
I don't think they want you to think about it that hard, though.
No, but that's what they're setting up, and everybody knows that Marvel fans do this. Like, we think about this. Okay, so people who were snapped out while driving home from work were blipped back in on the I-5 during rush hour, and were like mowed over, right? So this is what I contend. I contend that Professor Hulk knew what was going on, and he said, you know what? Don't only bring these people back, but put them in a safe environment, right? He's not going to have people blip back in life or death situations. Okay, so I kind of have an issue with everybody blipping back in the way that it's been portrayed.
But
call me crazy, I guess.
I will call you crazy, but I guess you could still be right because we haven't seen anyone blip back into danger, so you could be right.
Well, we could speculate. I mean,
that's what I'm saying. I'm speculating that you were correct, that no one has died after the blip. They were just like in awkward positions, like on a basketball court playing the trombone or the tuba. So
well, I'm just saying it seems odd.
All right. So anyway, we learned that Monica's mom, who was friend of Captain Marvel, created Sword. I tried to say Shield and Sword at the same time there, but it didn't come out. So they created Sword, which is a weird acronym. Basically, they're fighting off things that are sentient and either come from outer space or created by people like Tony Stark. So her mom is dead. She was the director of Sword. Someone is now directing Sword. Monica reports to Sword to say, hey, I'm going back out into space. They said, no, you're grounded because of the blip. This was a protocol that your own mother put into place. You have to go to this town to go find the missing person. And now, Tony, Mike, and I have talked a bunch about who this missing person actually is. Do you have any speculation yourself on who this missing person is that has kicked off this whole like investigation into what's going on in Westview?
No.
Fair enough.
I need to be really, to the point with you. I have no idea what that person would be. To be honest, I have no idea.
And that's
no
what
idea.
I think that's what we're supposed to think, right? We're all not supposed to know who it is and just speculate. I think it's a high level player. I think it might be Director Fury, or Steve even said he might even think it's Hawkeye because of Wanda's connection with him and kind of the bond that they made in Age of Ultron, which would kind of make sense as Wanda's struggling through kind of like the loss of Vision, the loss of her brother, we're going to come to find out. And so I think it's someone high level.
Yeah, and that was kind of my thing, because it is like, it's important enough to send the FBI out there, but also it's like, okay, it's kind of come into play somehow, like who this person is. Obviously, it's not important now, but
Right.
we also get Jimmy Woo comes in. Jimmy Woo, who was a character over from Ant-Man. Also, I learned that Jimmy Woo has been actually one of the original characters of the Marvel comic run, like way back from like the 60s. So Jimmy is actually like one of these like huge history in Marvel comics that I didn't know about. So he comes back. I think his character is really great. He's pretty funny. I loved him in the Ant-Man movies. He brings a really cool sense of humor to that series. So he's back now.
It's super fun to see John Krasinski back in the MCU. So
John
I agree.
Krasinski. I guess I don't know that reference. Maybe I didn't watch The Office enough. But so far, Tony, like, what has been your high level impressions of WandaVision, going from the sitcom black and white to finally getting some things uncovered from the show? Have you been enjoying the ride, or is this something that you're like, come on, get to the good stuff?
For me, has been really enjoyable since the first day. We decided that the WandaVision was going to be one of the things that my two kids, my wife, and I were going to do on Friday night, and we are enjoying every chapter, because at the beginning it was like, what the heck is happening here? So the second is, what the heck and what is that? And now it's just trying to figure out that, oh, Wanda Vision is not because Wanda, and Vision is because it's the vision of Wanda. So everything is starting to, into that position. But I don't know. I have enjoyed. I think my wife and I more than my kids, because we know the story of all those old shows, and we still don't know what is the role of the old shows here, why that's happening, but we are enjoying that, like the parodical way to present this thing. And we are excited about the last chapter. Was really amazing. Now I realize as well that my kids are geeks as well, because my son, when he saw the character, he's, oh, no, this is the child of the friend of Captain Marvel. Whoa, that was like too much for me. And I was proud in that moment, because, oh, you are my son. You're definitely my son. You're even better than me. And yeah, it's happening, dude. And but definitely the last chapter was like was bringing that sensation of the Twilight Zone, but extrapolating to Marvel, and that's wow. It's a beautiful idea of that this character, one of the most powerful characters of Marvel, is controlling all this, and maybe this is she's in a way out of control of her own power, maybe trying to recreate a world to herself, and in that same process is recreating something that she don't understand. She doesn't understand exactly what is happening. And I think that's amazing. What I want to know is what is going to happen with Vision when he realizes that I don't exist. I really don't exist. So that's going to be really interesting how they're going to handle that.
It is
It
interesting.
definitely is setting up for him to have that kind of, somebody's gonna let slip that hey, you actually died, buddy. You're not supposed to be here, and that's gonna be a fun moment in the show. I think the showrunners did a great job in putting this episode where it was, because I think if we would have gotten another periodical kind of more exposition dump, I think people would have started to trail off because of kind of not knowing what was going. So this episode was great. We see Jimmy and Monica playing around the force field, and Monica sends in a drone to kind of see what's going on. As soon as the drone goes through the force field, we lose all contact with it. And then something that I found was odd was that the drone actually changed into the period, right, of when it was, and we find the helicopter, and we realize that the helicopter and the drone are one and the same. Monica then pushes her way into the force field and is sucked in and then becomes part of the cast, quote unquote, right, that Wanda is projecting. Then we cut to Darcy showing back up. Darcy from the Thor series. She shows up. She has a doctorate now. She's a brilliant person. She has her little quips that she was famous for in the Thors, and she ultimately ends up setting up an old-timey TV that is going to start to pick up now the TV waves that are being broadcast from Westview. And it turns out that the person writing in the notebook at the end of episode 1 happens to be Darcy, right? So that connection is finally made. So now we can kind of see what's going on. And the FBI team get together and they start identifying all these people. And one of the things that is interesting is that many of the players that we've seen so far, they were told who they are. We're told that they're so-and-so being cast as so-and-so. So there's two kind of personalities going on. One thing that I thought was interesting, though, Steve, was that Agnes, who has played a very large part in the first episodes, wasn't mentioned as they were talking about who is who. So maybe she's the missing person. It is speculated, and I was talking to a friend at work about this, that she actually is a witch. And I don't know if that means like a witch like Wanda is a witch. I don't know if it means like she's a witch, burn her, kind of Monty Python thing. But she might be a bigger player than what we think versus just, in the show. And it's really neat to kind of see how the characters and the actors do this. I can't remember if it must have been last episode, 2 episodes ago, when Wanda and Vision's neighbor was using the hedge trimmers and cutting through the wall, and kind of that deadpan face that he gave Vision, because this all ties in together ultimately, because I was thinking right at the end of the show, and I'm not going to, we're talking about it, so I'll say we see Vision and he cuts to what he's being called as, what he's being known as Gray Vision, right? Where he's got the hole in his head, where Thanos takes the Mind Stone. He has the blank stare eyes. He's lost all his color. He cuts to that for a brief second. Wanda kind of recomposes herself, and then we see Vision as who he is. So I got to thinking, is it just Wanda that sees Vision as Vision, or does everybody see Vision as Vision? And it kind of makes sense that maybe Vision is just his corpse being reanimated, because everybody kind of looks at him in an odd way the first time that they see him, kind of like a double take kind of thing. And so I'm thinking to myself, that's pretty gross. That's pretty grim for that to happen, right? Because, happy world, here's this dead robot just kind of being lifelessly moved around, no expression other than what Wanda projects on him. So then the world still needs to be fleshed out. Are we seeing the things that Wanda sees, or are we seeing things that everybody else sees? And that's, I think, one of the big mysteries and one of the big hooks for me to kind of figure out. And the rest of the episode is then kind of used to give us all the pieces and all the players and how it all kind of works out and sets up the rest of the series with, okay, what happens next? Ultimately, who is the antagonist in this series? We all seem to think that Wanda is one of the heroes, but maybe Wanda is actually the bad guy. Maybe she's not dealing with Vision being gone as well as you would think that she is. Maybe she's hasn't processed the death of her brother, and so we see that that's when she kicks Monica out of Westview. So maybe she's not processing that all that well. And then we have the birth of the twins, right? And I'm sure that in the comics we remember that those twins actually end up having kind of their own kind of story arc, and how much of that is gonna come in from the comics. So there's definitely a lot of cool stuff going on. A lot of things are set up now. I really like Jimmy's character. He's funny. I could watch him for a while. He's just kind of the glue that holds it together for me. So I'm excited for it.
No, I think the show has been a huge surprise to me. Like, I didn't expect it to captivate me in the way that it has. And this being like the first Marvel Disney Plus series, like making that transition from the big screen, these huge actors coming to the big screen and being like, okay, this is really, really good. Like, I know there are a lot of people that like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and I'm not like belittling Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but this is not Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I think this show is like on a different level than that. But
It's good.
yeah, I'm excited to see where it goes. But Tony, do you think the kids are real? Like, the kids can't be real, right? Like the twins?
I say no, dude. I say no. I get to say no. I like the theory about Wanda moving the body of Vision.
That's really creepy.
It's pretty creepy, but it's an interesting theory. I got to tell you that I really like it, because at the end they both were created from the Mind Stone. So yeah, that's something interesting, when you started thinking. But yeah, definitely, I think that the kids are just a vision, not the vision, but it's just
No pun intended.
exactly. And yeah, I get to assume that overall with the quick pregnancy that she has, it was like 60 minutes or something like that. Yeah, I have to think that they really don't exist. They are just projections of their. I think her wishes. I think that what she's projecting there is that, the life that she wanted to have, and at the end, she discovered that she won't be able to, and then maybe that pain. She's a character that has been suffering a lot of pain. If you think about it, she lost their parents, then her brother, and then the love of her life. So it's something like, oh, dude, it's like too much for one person, to have so much pain. And I think it's a really interesting character. I think is one of my favorites. When we saw the final battle, when she gets to I forgot Thanos. Yeah, I was like, oh, dude, you're going to you. This is not your day. This is not your day. And it was. I wish that I wish that they see Thanos suffering a bit more from her. But yeah, he suffers some. But yeah, it's definitely. I don't think these kids are real, and it's gonna be tough for her, because now she's probably gonna lose the kids. Oh my god, I don't know what's gonna happen.
Yeah,
it's the end of the universe after that.
It is gonna be tough.
It might be. It might be. It may be. Yeah, it's interesting. I have like a deep speculation also that because of the tie-in from Captain Marvel, because we kind of get Sword and the whole space kind of travel thing and missions and thing. I think I never pronounce them right. Is it the Krill or the Krull?
The Krill.
Who are the aliens? Are they Krill?
There's the Krill and the Skrull.
I think
the Krill and the Skrull.
Oh,
which one's
yeah, it's true. It's true. Yeah.
I think they might play a part. I'm not sure. They may be one of the missing persons or something. I don't know.
I guess we will have to wait to see this Friday. But Tony,
I can't wait.
You,
can't wait for this.
You're gonna have to wait.
Installments.
You're gonna have to wait. But Tony, thank you so much for joining us on episode 158 of the Freelancer Codex podcast. Again, everyone that is listening, please go download the demo on Steam. It'll help for visibility. It'll help the team in many, many ways. So go download it, give it a try, have fun with it. It's free. And you will enjoy it. It's a lot of fun. So Tony, again, thank you very much. And again, I will put all links to the socials and to that in the show notes. So if you want that, you can just find it here in the show notes. But Tony, thank you very much for joining us. We really appreciate it. Rusted for all the way from Japan says good luck with The Last Soul and cheers. And Tony, we appreciate it. And we will have to chat again once you guys get those 5 levels out. We would love to chat again, and once the game gets funded, I have no doubt that it will be funded, and then you guys will find a publisher, and then eventually we'll be able to play Last Soul on Switch wherever we go. So
That's fantastic, dude. Let's see that.
Let's do it.
Right.
So everyone, thank you very much. Be safe, have fun, and as always, leave it better than you found it. So here we go.
Thank you for listening to the Freelancer Codex, a podcast brought to you by the Shut Up and Respawn Network. Follow us at Freelancer Codex on Twitter or Twitch. Send emails to freelancercodex@gmail.com or voice messages to anchor.fm/freelancercodex/message. We wish to thank all of our Patreons. We are grateful for you all.
See you later, chat.